The canals of Xochimilco, just south of Mexico City, are a maze of ancient waterways. As you float through the dense, hanging foliage, something strange comes into view. First one, then dozens, then hundreds of dolls. They hang from every tree, their plastic limbs creaking in the breeze, their faded eyes staring blankly into the distance. This is the Isla de las Muñecas, the island of the dolls, and it all began with one single possessed doll. The story starts with a man named Don Julian Santana Barrera. Seeking solitude from the modern world, he moved to this remote island Chinampa in the 1950s. One day, he made a tragic discovery: the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal. Floating near her was a doll. To honor her spirit and ward off any evil that might linger, he hung the doll from a tree. But this single act of remembrance soon spiraled into a lifelong obsession. Don Julian claimed to hear whispers, footsteps, and the tormented cries of the drowned girl in the dark. He believed the only way to appease her spirit was to bring her more dolls. For over 50 years, he collected them from trash heaps and traded his produce for them, hanging each one as an offering. The island became a grotesque shrine, a testament to one man's descent into a world of haunting voices and unrelenting fear. Locals and visitors have long shared chilling tales about the island. They say that the very first doll Don Julian hung began to move on its own. Its head would turn, its eyes would follow you, and at night it would whisper the name of the drowned girl. Don Julian himself told his family that the dolls would come alive after dark, their little plastic bodies animated by unseen forces. Visitors have sworn they've seen dolls blink, their arms shift positions, and have heard faint giggles echoing through the trees when no one else is around. One group of tourists, filming at dusk, captured footage of a doll's eyes seemingly opening and closing on their own. They fled in terror, convinced the spirits of the island were watching them. These aren't just stories. For those who've been there, the feeling of being watched by 1,000 lifeless eyes is all too real. To understand the island of the dolls, you have to understand Mexico's deep-rooted connection with the spiritual world. The island didn't just appear out of nowhere. It grew from a cultural soil rich with beliefs about spirits, offerings, and the afterlife. This isn't just a haunted place, it's a folk shrine. The practice of leaving offerings for the dead is central to traditions like Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. In ancient animist beliefs, objects could hold spiritual energy. The dolls, in this context, are not just toys. They are seen as vessels, potential homes for restless spirits. Don Julian wasn't just a man going mad. He was participating in an age-old tradition of spiritual guardianship, creating a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the dead. The island is a modern manifestation of ancient Mexican folklore. The stories from this island are incredibly chilling, and we've barely scratched the surface of the strange occurrences reported here. If you're finding this journey into the darkness as fascinating as I am, take a moment to hit that like button. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on more tales of the world's most haunted places, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every click helps us bring more of these incredible stories to light. Sharing this video with a friend who loves a good ghost story is the best way to support the channel. Now, what's truly terrifying is when these local legends break out into the mainstream. The Island of the Dolls is no longer just a whispered tale in Xochimilco. It's a global phenomenon. It has been featured in countless documentaries, travel shows, and horror films, each one adding another layer to its mythos. Shows like Ghost Adventures and BuzzFeed Unsolved brought camera crews to the island, capturing evidence that left their audiences divided and terrified. The island's imagery, the decaying dolls, the eerie silence, the tragic backstory has become an icon of haunted tourism. It is a powerful symbol that taps into a universal fear, the idea of the inanimate coming to life. Every YouTube explorer who films their overnight stay, every blogger who writes about the chilling atmosphere, solidifies the island's place in the global consciousness as one of the most haunted places on Earth. With its growing fame, the island has become a magnet for paranormal investigators. Armed with sophisticated equipment, they've descended on this small patch of land, hoping to capture definitive proof of the afterlife. Teams have set up night vision cameras, digital voice recorders, and EMF meters, which measure electromagnetic fields. The results have been unsettling. Multiple investigators have recorded what they claim are electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs faint, disembodied voices whispering in the static. Words like "help me" and a child's faint crying have reportedly been captured. EMF meters have spiked wildly near specific dolls, particularly the first one Don Julian hung, suggesting a concentrated energy source. In one well-documented investigation, a team used a device called a spirit box, which rapidly scans radio frequencies. Amid the white noise, a clear voice allegedly came through saying Julian's name. Perhaps the most disturbing evidence is the video footage of dolls seemingly moving on their own a slight turn of the head, a blink of an eye with no wind or external force to explain it. Of course, for every believer, there's a skeptic offering a rational explanation. The scientific perspective suggests that what people experience on the island can be explained by a combination of natural phenomena and human psychology. The eerie whispers? That could be the wind rustling through thousands of plastic limbs and hollow bodies, creating a wide range of acoustic effects. The dolls that seem to move. Wind again? Or the natural decay of the strings and wires holding them, causing them to shift and settle over time. Then there's pareidolia, our brain's tendency to see patterns, like faces, in random arrangements of objects. 1,000 dolls with staring eyes create the perfect environment for our minds to play tricks on us. Psychologists also point to the power of suggestion, or psychological priming. When you go to a place you've been told is haunted, you're already expecting to see or hear something spooky. Your senses are on high alert, and you're more likely to interpret ambiguous sights and sounds as paranormal. It's not that people are lying. It's that their perception is shaped by the island's powerful and pervasive legend. So why does the legend of the Island of the Dolls persist with such power? It's more than just a ghost story. It has become a crucial part of Mexico's modern cultural identity, a symbol of the country's rich and sometimes dark folklore. The story taps into our collective fears about death, loss, and the unknown. Don Julian's tragic obsession resonates because it's a human story of grief and a desperate attempt to communicate with what lies beyond. The island serves as a physical manifestation of an urban legend, a place you can actually visit, which makes the myth feel much more real. In a way, the island has become a living story, constantly evolving as each new visitor adds their own experience, their own fear, their own interpretation. It's a powerful reminder that some stories are too compelling, too haunting, to ever fully explain away. As the sun sets over the canals of Xochimilco, the Island of the Dolls settles into a chilling silence, broken only by the creak of plastic and the whisper of the wind. The blank eyes of 1,000 dolls watch over the water, guardians of a tragic secret and a lingering spirit. Whether a place of profound haunting or a monument to one man's grief, its power is undeniable. The island holds its secrets close, leaving us to wonder what really happens when the last boat leaves and darkness falls. But the world is full of cursed objects and haunted histories. From the haunted island of Mexico, our journey now moves to Europe, where another cursed object waits in silence. Join us as we uncover the chilling legend of the Dybbuk Box of Poland. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. Have you ever heard of the Dybbuk Box? You've probably seen the movie The Possession, or heard stories about the one that paranormal investigator Zach Bagans owns. But what if I told you there's another one, with a story just as chilling, if not more so? This is the tale of Poland's Dybbuk Box. Our story begins in 2015. A Polish man named Oleg receives a strange inheritance from his grandmother, who had passed away. She was a Jewish survivor of the Holocaust, a detail that becomes crucial to our story. Among her belongings was a small, unassuming wooden box. It wasn't particularly ornate, just a simple box. But his grandmother had left strict instructions. Never, under any circumstances, should it be opened. Naturally, curiosity got the better of Oleg. He didn't believe in curses or old superstitions. So he opened it. Inside, he found a few peculiar items. A lock of hair tied with a ribbon, a small dried-out bird's heart, a piece of amber, and a strange metallic object that looked like a carving of a creature. It was an odd collection, but nothing that screamed danger. He closed the box and thought nothing more of it. That was his first mistake. Oleg started experiencing terrifying nightmares. Not just bad dreams, but vivid, visceral terrors where he felt a malevolent presence pressing down on him, suffocating him. He would wake up with unexplained scratches on his body. His friends and family noticed a change in him. He became withdrawn, paranoid, and constantly exhausted. He started seeing a dark, shadowy figure in the corners of his vision, always just out of focus. One night, things took a truly horrifying turn. A friend was staying over, and in the middle of the night, they were both jolted awake by a guttural scream. The scream wasn't coming from outside or another apartment. It was coming from inside Oleg's own living room. When they cautiously went to investigate, they found the room in disarray, and a series of deep scratches gouged into the wooden floor, leading from the box to the center of the room. That was the breaking point. Oleg knew he couldn't handle this alone. He contacted a group of paranormal investigators known as the Warsaw Paranormal Group. They were skeptical at first, having dealt with many hoaxes. But Oleg's genuine terror and the evidence he presented convinced them to take the case. The investigators brought their equipment to Oleg's apartment: EMF meters, EVP recorders, and thermal cameras. As soon as they entered, their gear went haywire. EMF meters spiked into the red, especially near the box. They started an EVP session, asking questions into the empty room. When they played back the audio, they captured clear, chilling responses. In a raspy, guttural voice, a word was repeated over and over: Dybbuk. For those who don't know, in Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a malicious, disembodied spirit believed to be the soul of a deceased person. It wanders the earth, looking for a living body to possess and inhabit. This isn't just a ghost. It's an entity that clings to a person, causing immense psychological and physical torment. The box, it seemed, was not a container for objects, but a prison for a spirit. The investigators decided the box needed to be contained. They built a special case lined with lead and silver, materials often associated with repelling or weakening spiritual entities. They performed a ritual, attempting to seal the box and the entity within it. During the ritual, the entire apartment plunged into an unnatural cold. Objects flew off the shelves, and the investigators reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and anger radiating from the box. After they managed to seal it, the paranormal activity in Oleg's apartment seemed to decrease, but it didn't stop entirely. The entity was weakened, but not gone. The investigators took the box to their headquarters for further study, where it remains under lock and key. Even there, they report strange occurrences. Staff members feel watched, hear unexplained noises, and some even refuse to go near the room where it's kept. So, what is the origin of this particular Dybbuk box? Research into Oleg's grandmother's past provided a possible and tragic answer. During World War II, she had a sister who was engaged to be married. The fiancé was a craftsman who had made this very box as a wedding gift. Tragically, before they could be married, both he and her sister were taken to a concentration camp where they perished. The theory is that the fiancé's spirit, twisted by anger and grief, became a Dybbuk and attached itself to the last object he created out of love, the box. Oleg's grandmother, knowing the pain and torment contained within, kept it sealed, hoping to protect her family from the darkness it held. She wasn't being superstitious. She was being protective. The story of Poland's Dybbuk box is a chilling reminder that some legends have roots in real-world tragedy. It's a tale of love, loss, and a haunting that transcends generations. Unlike its more famous American counterpart, this box has a deeply personal and heartbreaking history tied to one of the darkest chapters of human history. The box isn't just a cursed object. It's a vessel of immense sorrow and rage. Today, the box is kept secure by the Warsaw Paranormal Group. They have refused multiple offers from collectors and museums, believing that opening it again will be incredibly dangerous. Not just for the person who opens it, but for anyone nearby. They believe the entity inside is powerful, intelligent, and waiting for its chance to escape. What do you think? Is this a genuine case of a Dybbuk trapped in a box? Or a powerful story born from grief and historical trauma? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and chilling as I did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into the unknown. Stay curious and stay safe. The mirror stands in a forgotten chamber of a Rajasthan palace, its frame carved with intricate floral motifs, its glass dulled by centuries, yet still reflecting with unsettling clarity. Visitors describe how candlelight flickers unnaturally across its surface, shadows bending in ways that defy physics. Some swear the mirror breathes, fogging slightly as if exhaling, though no one is near. The legend says this mirror does not simply reflect, it captures. Those who gaze too long risk leaving a part of themselves behind. Immersive atmospheric introduction. Long-form description of the palace, the mirror's aura, and the first legends. Expanded eyewitness accounts told as cinematic scenes, with dialogue, sensory detail, and emotional reactions. Build tension gradually, layering story after story until the audience feels the weight of centuries pressing down. Origin story. Narrative of the mirror's creation by artisans, its placement in a royal palace, and the betrayal that cursed it. Expanding into detailed storytelling. The noble who saw his reflection smile when he did not, the illness that followed, the rituals of sealing a soul inside. Emotional depth and cultural symbolism woven throughout. Folklore and possession. Dozens of expanded accounts of visitors who saw faces not their own, shadows lingering in the glass, or reflections that refuse to vanish. Each account becomes a full scene, a traveler staring into the mirror, hearing whispers, feeling watched. Cultural parallels to Indian ghost traditions, superstition, and fear. Historical context. Expanded exploration of Rajasthan's palaces, the role of mirrors in architecture, and beliefs about reflections as portals. Long-form cultural analysis. Mirrors as gateways, spirits trapped in objects, rituals of protection. Detailed descriptions of palace life, ceremonies, and how the mirror became infamous. Mid-script CTA embedded naturally. Encourage like, subscribe, share while reinforcing suspense. Expanded to approximately 500 words, blending call to action with narrative tension, reminding viewers their support helps uncover more mysteries worldwide. Popular culture impact. Expanded analysis of documentaries, travel blogs, and horror films inspired by cursed mirrors. Detailed examples of how Rajasthan's mirror became a symbol of haunted tourism, how filmmakers recreated its legend, how writers described its eerie aura. Expanded cultural reception. Modern paranormal investigations. Detailed accounts of equipment, recordings, unexplained phenomena. Expanded investigator experiences. Reflections moving independently, voices capture sudden illness. Technical descriptions, interviews, and case studies woven into long-form storytelling. Skeptical explanations. Expanded scientific detail. Optical illusions, psychological priming, mirror fatigue. Expert commentary, comparisons to other haunted mirrors worldwide, and counter-arguments. Long-form analysis, case studies, and cultural critique. Cultural significance. Expanded exploration of why the legend persists, how urban myths evolved, and how Rajasthan's cursed mirror became a symbol of India's haunted identity. Interviews, sociological analysis, and spiritual interpretations. Long-form cultural storytelling, closing build-up. Expanded outro narration. Summarize the haunting, reinforce atmosphere, leave audience unsettled. Outro CTA embedded here. From the cursed mirror of Rajasthan, our journey through haunted artifacts concludes. 3 legends, 3 objects where shadows linger. Subscribe now to continue exploring the world's darkest mysteries.